Hello and welcome back everyone, it's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing No Twins Allowed. And you can see a couple of detectives there that are twins, and apparently they're just not allowed in this coffee shop, poor them. So, you may have seen as well that we're back to the classic introduction, that's the most voted one at the moment, and I'll probably tweak the video a little bit, just to sort of correct the puzzle that's in the introduction and actually add something new for others to solve. But the music is here to stay. Thank you very much for participating and voting, and love to always have your input on what you guys would like to see on this channel. Well, let's take a look at the, last thing I should point out, look at the Christmas decoration, it's gone. Christmas is behind us now, although you can see our frog and zebra though, they're not giving up their Christmas hat that easily. They may as well wear it for the next 12 days. It is, after all, 12 days of Christmas. Let's take a look at the puzzle we have in store for today. So we have No Twins Allowed by EFlatMinor, and only 3 rules today. So we have the first rule, which is essentially why we're all here. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So place the digits 1 to 9 into every row, column, and 3x3 box. EFlatMinor doesn't mention it, but I will. No repeats in any of these, please. Second rule we have is arrows. So digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in the connected circle. So for example, if these two digits are 2 and 3, then this cell here has to show up the sum of what's on the arrow, and it's 5, 2 plus 3. Lastly, we have no 2 circles contain the same digit. So continuing with my 2, 3 example, and this being a 5, well, now I cannot place a 5 in this circle because I would be repeating the same digit, and that is not allowed. I mean, obviously because it's in the same box, but you know, I couldn't do it in here either or in there. It doesn't matter where. I cannot repeat the 5 now in any of the circles. Fairly straightforward set of rules today. A slight variant on the arrow sum rules for us to explore today. Now, am I right in thinking? No, sorry, I'm confusing it. I've been kind of skimming, looking back through some of the puzzles that I may have missed, and essentially really just looking to feature over the next few days all the highest rated puzzles. So, if you want to play along, well, if you're not a twin, and you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to play along as usual. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So my first temptation is, how many circles do we have? And we have 9. So we need to place the digits 1 to 9 in each of these circles. And obviously 1 and 2 will be tricky. In fact, the only place that 1 can be is this one. Because all the other circles, as you can see, require to sum at least 2 digits. And 2 is also tricky. 2 can only go here, because that's the only place where, yes, it is the sum of 2 digits, but I can actually repeat that digit. You can see all the other circles, I mean, I say all the other circles, there's only really only other 3 circles that are summing up only 2 cells, and it's these 3, but they're always in the same box. So they clearly couldn't have been the 2 because I couldn't put a double 1 in them. Sorry, I'm just losing focus, just taking it all in. I mean, 1s and 2s were easy, but what am I doing with the rest, if I'm honest? So 3 and 4 have to be in one of these 3 cells. Because again, 3 can only be done with one of 2 ways. Sorry, only in one. 3 and 4 can only be done in one way with 2 cells. And it's 1 and 2. So essentially for 3, that is immediately discounted because I can't put 1 and 2 in here. In fact, so is this one because I can't put 1 and 2 in here. So this is the 3. That's the 1. That's the 2. Now the 4 is with 1 and 3, and I've just discounted this circle by having a 1 and a 3 looking at this cell. I can't put a second 3 in here, to make that a 4. The only place I can do this now in anywhere in the grid is in here. So we've already got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're off to a pretty good start, so to speak. Now there's a couple of arrow sum circles that are quite long where I think, so I've started with the 1 and 2 and then progressed to 3 and 4. But I'm almost tempted to say, because 5, 6, 7, 8, etc., they're interesting, but I mean, like, I can easily make this a 5, for example, because 5 could be done in one of two ways, and I could do one way this way and one way that way. And it just keeps getting easier with 6, 7, 7 in particular. In two ways, I've got 3 options. So what I'm more tempted now to do is to actually look at 8s and 9s and actually have a think around what some of these gigantic arrow sums could possibly be. Because my temptation is, yeah, this can only be 8 or 9. And essentially, the minimum I can make this is 1, 2, 3. I mean, with this one here, that's the 1, 2, 3, that's the 1. But that's already at 6. Now, for me to hit 7, I would need to add another 1 in here, which is clearly impossible. I've already placed it in the column and in the box. So I can't make this any smaller than 8 or 9. Now, I'm also tempted to think it's probably the same challenge with this one, particularly because it's got so many in the same box in box 6. So, continuing with the idea of minimizing this, I could do 2, 3, and then I can do 1 in here. So I've got 6, 7, and I guess this would have to be 6, 7, that would be 4. And presumably, yeah, because 1, 2, 3, 4, I could do 5, 2, I could do 6, 1. So technically, I can make this a 7. I can't make it a 6, though. So, I'll take it. This is from 7, 8, or 9. This is 8 or 9. This really has a ton of options. I'm not going to... It's basically all the remaining possibilities. What about this cell? This circle? So I'm getting distracted thinking about this one. You see, the fact that I'm adding up these 3 cells plus another tells me essentially that these 3 cells have to at most add up to 8. And at minimum, not at minimum, at most add up to 8. And a minimum of 6. Because obviously 1, 2, 3. But the key thing here is 8. Even if I'm adding up to 8 in here, and I can't even get to 8, because remember, I can't put a 1 in here. I've already placed it. So the minimum I can put in there is 2, and the minimum I can put here is 6 or 7. So I think I need to place a 1 on here. Obviously 6 or 7 in there. You can't, the minute you remove 1 from the equation, I'm really not being very articulate today. The minute that you do not include 1 on those 3, the minimum I can make it is 2, 3, 4. That puts me at 9. I can't even put a 1 in here. I need a 2 at a minimum. I'm already at 11 if I don't use a 1 on this arrow. Because of this 1, these are not the ones, that's the 1. Now, the minimum I can make this now, because I've already got the 1s in here, is a 2. Maximum is 3, depending on what I put in here, which is 2, 3, or 4, because I can do 2, 4, plus the 1, that adds up to 7, plus a 2 to make a 9. Obviously, the other way I could do this is 2, 3, plus a 3 in here to make up a 9. And then the last option that I have is 2, 3, which is a 6 with the 1, plus a 2 to make up an 8. That's not a 3. That's kind of all I have to say now. We've got 3 already. This is 8 or 9. This is now 5 or 6. This is in fact a 1. This is just Sudoku. Where does the 1 go in box 5? Well, these ones have essentially eliminated every option except this cell. So this is definitely a 1. And now it's essentially down to what are these two cells? And they can be 2 and 3 to make that an 8. Hang on. 1, 2, 3 to make that a 7, excuse me. So yeah, 7 still is the case, especially since I've forced a 1 in here. How about I just check for any other ones I can place? And I think the answer is yes, I can. I can place another 1 in here, another 1 in there. That's all the ones done. That's 9 ones. 2s, have I got something similar? Not really. 3s, not really. Right, let's just keep going. What else can I do? I mean, again, this can't be 5. So this is a minimum of 6, 7, 8, or 9, because I could do 2, 3. Can I do 2, 3? I've got a 1 in here, so that would be a 2, 4. So that would be the 2, that would be the 4. So yes, I can do 6. I can do 7. That would be 1, 2, 4. It won't be 1, 6. It could be 2, 5. And can it be 3, 4? No, because that's looking at this cell. So that's how I would get to 7. 8, with the 1 in here, I can do 2, 5. I could do 3, 4. Can't do 1, 7. Could do 2, 6. Could do, presumably, 3, 5 as well. It's a lot of options. I don't know if I want to keep going down this path, and I won't, if I'm honest. Let's leave that aside. Here's something. This is not a 5 anymore. The reason I say that is I can't have any 1s. And a 5 is either 1, 4 or 2, 3. So this is no longer a 5. This is 6, 7, 8, or 9. Whereas the only place I can put a 5 now can only be up here with a 5 and a 4. Lovely. Then I have the 6, 7, 8, 9s. I suspect this is now going to be very difficult to do with 6. Because again of the challenge I have with the 1s. So that would require 2, 4 and 2, 4. And what would this cell be if this is 2, 4? So this can't be a 6 either. This is not a 6. This is not a 6. This is the 6. And therefore this is forced to be 2, 3. Because the 1 is already placed. This is not 1, 5. This is 2, 4. That's the 2. That's the 4. Excellent. Let's think about this 7, 8, 9 now. I've placed quite a few digits around it, so feels increasingly restricted. So essentially I've already got 2 on here. Can I make this a 5 is the question to get to 7. And 1, 6 is clearly not available. 2, 5 still is. And 3, 4 seemingly still is to get to 7. So not helpful. If that was a 5, that would be a 2. Actually, no, that wouldn't. Hang on. Maybe I'm not. Sorry, because I could do 2, 5, but then think again. Sleuth, I've already placed 2. So the only way I can make 5 would be 2, 3. That 2 tells me that would be the 2, that would be the 3. Then to make 7, I'd need a 4 in here, which is not available. So I can't get to 7. And now that gives me an 8, 9 pair. That's the 7. And remember, no 1s. So this has to be 2, 5, and 3, 4. Which I'm just going to write in for the moment. 2, 5, 3. I mean, is it worthwhile doing that? Let me just see the options. 2, 4 tells me that this is either 3, 5, the 3 with the 4 possible, the 5 with the 2 seemingly possible. 2, 5, 3, 4. Seemingly possible again. 1 with a 2, 3, 4, 5. This has to be the 5. I've got a essentially like quintuple, or with the 1 already placed, a quadruple. With this being the 5, that's the 2. That's got to be a 3. That's got to be a 3 because it's got a 5 looking at it. That's got to be a 4 to make sure it adds up to 7. That's got to be a 2. What is this now? I've already placed a lot of it. In fact, that is forced as a 3. That's a 6 with a 3. That's a 9. Forcing this to be a 6. That's got to be an 8. I need to make these add up to 6 because I've already got the 2 1s. And it can't be 1, 5 since I've already got 1 in the box. It's got to be 2, 4. I've broken it. Because that can't be 2 or 4. How did I break it? 1, 2, 3 with a 3, that looked good. 2, 5 with a 3, 4. The double ones is the challenge, always. I mean, I'm happy with this conclusion, that being a 7. That being a 3 forces this to be a 9, and it really couldn't have been a 2 as soon as I placed a 5 and 2. The 5 was forced because I couldn't place a 5 in any of these. 1 and 5 would have got me to a 6, with a 2 would have got me to 9, so yeah, 5 wasn't in any of these. 5 here would have required a 2 there, that wouldn't have worked. 1, 2 and the 3, the 1, 4 and the 5, the 1, 3 and the 4. The double ones is correct. This one was forced because of the 1, the 1, the 1, the 1. I mean, where am I going wrong? Hmm. That would be 3, 5. So that would be 5, that would be 3. Of course I can't have another 3 to make that an 8. Did that really need to be the 1? Did I make a mistake earlier? No, that 1 was this one. And that 1 was the only place I could place the 3. I couldn't make that a 3 because the 2 was not available. I couldn't make that a 3, the 2 was not available. That was the only place for the 2 with the double 1s. Have I made a typo somewhere that's causing this? Maybe. What I'm going to do is rewind a little, because it sort of all started round about here. Now I agree 1, 6 is not available, therefore it's 2, 5 and 3, 4. Why is there no 4 in here? Okay, there is a 4 in there. Still forces a 5. Can't be a 5, that would be a 2. Can't put a 5 on this. That's the thing I think I need to be careful. I've got a 2, 4 pair, seemingly. 5 and 2, 3 and 4. And this one is limited because I've got 2 and 4 already placed, removing the 3, 5 as an option. Now if I remove the 2 4s as an option, it forces the 3 and the 5. So it's pretty solid reasoning in my view. So I think up to this point, I'm happy. Which places a 3, which immediately forces the 2, the 4, the 3. And that adds up to 9. That's got to be a 6. Am I just struggling with simple maths here? Yes, I am. And the simple math that I'm struggling with is the arrow, as you can see, turns down and back up. So I needed to make a 5 in here all along, not a 6. And 2, 3 is available. 1, 4 isn't. 2, 3, 5, 8. Sorry about that. 7. 2s, 2. Well, I mean, let's think about this. I've got 1, 2, 3. It's got to be 4, 5. That's the 4. That's the 5 because of this 4. So that's all the arrows done. And now it's just Sudoku. We've got this. I'm sure we have. So this is 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. I should say 6, 7, 8. That's not a 7. What about 3s? How are we looking on 3s? None of these are 3. That's a 3. We've done all the 2s, haven't we? Almost. That's a 2. That's 9 2s. 3s. Yeah. Am I not? Yeah, I've solved this one as well. 4s. Got 2 4s in here. 5s. That's a 5. There's a 5 in there. 5 in here. 5s in there. Whoops, undo. Too many places for 5s in here. I'm not tempted to pencil mark that. 6s, yeah, 6s, 7, 8s, and 9s are tricky. Although this 6 is just placed. This is 7 and 9. This 7 actually tells me the order. That's 7. That's 9. That's got to be a 9 up here. This is not, well, I mean, we know what these two are. This is 6, 8. That 6 tells me the order. That's 6. That's 8. This is 7, 8. This is known as a 9. That's a 6, 7, 8 triple. That's a 9. To finish here, I need a 7, 8, which is not determined yet. This is 5, 6. That 6 tells me the order. 6, 5. Does it help me with my 5s in here? Not entirely. Okay. We do know what this cell is. That's an 8. That's not an 8. I need a 9 in this box. It can only be in here. And a 6. Surely 6s are not far off done now. That's not a 6. I say surely, but not really. There's a 6 in one of these two cells. 6s are not here, here, or here. That's the 6. That gives me the 4s finally. That's a 5 with an 8, seemingly. What else do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5's not determined. 6 is placed. I need 7. Let's just take a look at this column. 7 and 8. That's the 7. That's the 8. That gives me the 5 in here. That's not the 5. That's the 5. That's the 8. This is from 6, 7, and 9. That 7 tells me that's the 7. That's the 6. That's the 9. That's the 8. The 7. The 6. The 8. The 7. 7 and 8 in here. It's still not resolved. That's the 7 though. That's the 8, 7. 9. I know what this is. That's another 9. And if I've not made any other mistakes, that's the 8 and the solution to today's puzzle. Lovely puzzle, EFlatMinor. Pretty straightforward, especially if you can actually see the arrows correctly, such as the fact that this one takes an extra cell before it goes back up. That probably added almost 5 minutes onto my solve. So it is a pretty straightforward puzzle if you just use the no two circles may contain the same digits. I think no twins allowed pretty much tells you start there. And yeah, that forces a lot of these cells. So it's a lovely variant EFlatMinor. Thank you so much for the puzzle. And hope that you guys enjoyed it as well as I did. And see you back for the next video. Bye for now.